Okay, I'll entertain you. Taking the Titans, and if I am the loser this week, I will put mayo in my coffee. And I'll put it on. I'll take a video of it and I'll send it to you guys, and we can post it on YouTube or whatever.
I feel like he's done this before.
Yeah. Is this a setup?
Yeah, it's a setup.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beardzone Sports Talk, where the takes are almost as bold as the beards. My name is David. We got Carlos, we got Scooter, and gentlemen, this is it's kind of like our inaugural episode of the NFL season. I know we had the kickoff episode just on yesterday, but now we're really going to be diving in to the games this Sunday, all the way through Sunday, getting into the Monday night game. We have the Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens going on right now as we are talking. It is tied 7-7. It's already been a fantastic opening to the NFL season, but fellas, how we feeling? Because football's officially back, and it feels so good.
I'm feeling very busy. Very busy. Between this podcast, watching games, getting chewed out by my kids, and getting the nice, look from the wife, and God bless her because she puts up with all of my crap. But I feel very busy now. That's about it. It's a lot of relief too. Like, we had all this hype for the season, and here we are.
Hey, I spent $150 today. Is the best 150 ever on pink roses with some white candies. Set up a dinner for Saturday night. Oof. Hopefully it's not for all. Not.
Hey, you backed up your words the other day, and you actually went through with it. You took your own advice. And so, but yes, gentlemen, the football season is upon us. So make sure to prepare your wives or your significant other, because we all know this is the time of year. It's the best time of year. We got the holidays right around the corner. We got football now. And I mean, come on, what more can we ask for as football fans? But before we get into some of the games, do us a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That is the best way to continue to support us here on this channel, and we definitely appreciate all the love and support that we've been receiving. But fellas, let's dive right into it. There's some games that we have circled here on the calendar that we definitely want to get into. And let's kick it off with the game that has two teams with two brand new quarterbacks, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons. They face off in week one. We have Kirk Cousins at the helm. We have Russell Wilson at the helm with a potential future starter and Justin Fields. Now, we're probably not going to see him this Sunday. Well, all of us, especially Mike Tomlin, want to see what they have in Russell Wilson. But how do you guys feel about this game?
Actually, it's interesting. It's one of the games I want to see. Like, how's Cousins bounce back? How is Wilson going to come back to his old ways? Are we going to see the same Wilson we saw in Denver? So it's going to be interesting. Is Judon going to, does he make an impact right away with Justin Simmons and that revamp, defense of theirs? So, and then Pittsburgh's defense. So I don't even know what to make of this, but it's an interesting game to see. It's really just see these two quarterbacks and, see what, they're going to set the tone for these two teams. So let's see what happens here. Be interesting.
I don't know how you guys think this is going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be a complete blowout. I don't like rooting for the Falcons, being a Bucs fan, but I think Russell Wilson's on the down train into the dumpster fire, and Mike Tomlin may have his first losing season. So I think Kirk Cousins is going to come back and be like, "Do you like that? You like that?" That's just how I think it's going to go. I think Atlanta's heavy on the win cycle with this team coming in. Like you said, Judon and Isaiah Simmons, I mean, they gave us some crap last year, Dave, and you know that. like on the defensive side of the ball. And if they get any offense clicking with Kirk and Kyle Pitts, for every fantasy owner holding him right now, he's like pulled hamstring and crying. But you got Bijan Robinson and Drake London. So I don't know how they don't win this game. But
I feel like it should be a better game. I mean, you never want to bet against Mike Tomlin. I mean, the guy has never had a losing season for a reason. Not to say that he, just doesn't lose games, but because he does. But he prepares his team and he draws up a really good scheme and draws up a really good game plan. I think of the video that went around. I think it was last year, and the fan was in the tunnel when Mike Tomlin was walking by, and the fan was like, Tomlin. He was just like, hey, man, I'm working right now. Like, shut up. So it's all business for Mike Tomlin there in Pittsburgh, and I think that he's going to have the boys ready for this week 1 matchup against the Falcons. But it should be interesting, and yes, you took the words right out of my mouth, Scooter. Kirk Cousins, if you want to win over the fans of Atlanta and the fans of several fantasy leagues, for everything, throw the ball to Kyle Pitts. Show him some love.
I don't think he's playing. I think he's out.
He's got a hammy.
He's pulled the hammy, man. This guy he's never going to break out. It'll be year 8. This is the year. It's not going to happen, man.
Is he the RG3 of tight ends?
No, he's a waste of talent, man. But Cousins, they're going to have a tough time against that Pittsburgh defense. That's a good defense. Patrick Queen is on there. TJ's there. Fitzpatrick's in the back. They got it. They're stacked, man. So it's going to be interesting to see how Cousins comes back. But, he's a gamer. He took a bunch of hits in Minnesota, so he's not immune to that. So it'll be interesting. But, yeah, fantasy owners, just drop Kyle Pitts now.
I mean, yeah, honestly. Man, what are you going to do about that? But also, something to think about. When I think about this game, I think about it's really going to come down to, both defenses are definitely looking very good on paper. You had the question mark with the quarterbacks. And to me, I feel like the biggest area of question is, okay, Russell Wilson, are you going to be the guy who deserves that money that you're making? Or are you going to be the guy who kind of fades away and becomes Mr. Limited now and not unlimited? Because, like the Homer Simpson Bush meme, it just slowly...
They only paid him $1 million, man. It's cheap.
The Broncos are paying the majority of that.
They are. They 100% are.
Listen, the Broncos are on the hook big time for him. So, if you're Russell Wilson, the best way to stick it to Denver is have them pay you while you're not there and ball out in Pittsburgh now. That would be Russell Wilson doing that. Let's not have Sierra be the best thing that he brought to Denver. Let him try and stick it to Sean Payton and them. So, but let's move on to the next game that we have circled here. And this game features newer quarterbacks for sure, and a rookie quarterback that had the entire draft, combine, offseason in a chokehold. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Scooter has had 3 aneurysms because we've talked about this guy so much. But it's just the fact, listen, man, this guy, he had a great preseason. We've been seeing some really good things. Now we get to see him in real action against starting defenses. And this is a defense that, it's not great, but it's also not bad if you really look at it. They got Snead. They got Snead from the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm talking about the Tennessee Titans and the Chicago Bears matchup. You have Will Levis on the other side. Will Levis had an iffy kind of rookie year, but he has Brian Callahan now that came from Cincinnati. So new weapons around him. Obviously, they don't have Derrick Henry in the backfield to lean on. But what do you guys think about this? Is this going to be a nice entrance for Caleb Williams, or is he going to struggle?
We'll let Scooter go on this one.
I don't know if Scooter wants to.
I think Caleb throws 2 interceptions. I don't know if he understands that the NFL is for the big boys. He's got to drop the Merce. He's got to, get rid of all that stuff. You got to have the mentality to win, and you have to have the maturity to kind of evolve with the game. You got Will Levis, who's an absolute gamer. I don't know if he's what Tennessee needs, but he got some wins with him last year, and sophomore year, 50-50 shot at being good, as we saw with rookies in the past. I don't know, 5 or 7 years, that the game opener can be a hard reality check, or they can just come out and start scoring. It's a very flip of the coin type thing with the opening game for rookie quarterbacks specifically. I think the Bears have the offense to get them to where they want to be, but their defense was quite beaten up last year, and I don't know if a lot of those dudes recovered. So I think the Titans probably have the upper hand here as far as continuity in defense. I've had the Titans defense before on fantasy, and they're no chump. They will game out. They do let up some points from time to time, but they've never been spectacular, but they've never been chump change. So I think Caleb's not going to do well. I think he goes like 250 yards max with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions.
I think it's a perfect matchup for Caleb. It's not a top 10 defense, but is a defense that can cause you some problems with Snead and Simmons and, those guys. So it's a perfect matchup for them at home, man. I don't think they let loose of him right away. I heard a great statement about Caleb, and of course Scooter's going to hate this, that he is more Mahomes than Mahomes was coming in, because he's had 4 to 5 years to watch Mahomes, and like Kobe did with Michael, and pattern his game around that, and you see a little bit of that in the preseason, the arm angles and different things that he does. I think he has a good game. I think they're going to rely on a little bit on the run game, but I think he has I'm going to say he's a 300-yard game. Like, I just can't see how the Bears can lose this game, but it's a good test for him. I think he just got to get past the initial, hey, I'm in the NFL. It's a home game. The crowd is going to be ridiculous with Caleb Williams jerseys on. I think it's a good game. You just got to get through that first quarter, and then he'll settle in. I think he has a good game, man. I mean, look what he's got around him. How can he not have a good game? I mean, He's got weapons galore.
Because he's not a leader.
He'll get it done.
Yet. I mean, well, hey, look, the one thing about the NFL is that it will expose you very quickly. So if Caleb is going to be a baller, he'll be a baller, and if he's not, we'll find that out within the next 2 years, if not sooner. So, I think I'm with Carlos on this one. I think that this is kind of the perfect scenario for Caleb Williams. You have a home opener. You're against a team that isn't a slouch by any means, but they're not one of those teams that you look at, to be there towards the end of the year. And yeah, man, I mean, he's just going to have the crowd behind him. Chicago is buying into him so heavily right now. I mean, he is literally their savior right now. Like that is how Chicago is picturing Caleb Williams. And, he has a lot of weight on his shoulders, but with Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift in the backfield, Cole Kmet, and a pretty mid-tier offensive line. I mean, he has all the right pieces, and we've talked about this before. There should be no excuse for him not to do well this game or this season, right? There's no reason for him not to break that Bears curse and throw for 4,000 yards. There's no reason for him not to be the offensive rookie of the year. So it's going to be a test for sure, but it is it's the perfect scenario for Caleb Williams, because if it was someone like, let's say, the Giants or the Patriots or someone who doesn't have that great of defense or just a great team right now, and they're in that rebuilding phase, people would just kind of overlook it. Scooter, the haters, they would be like, wait until he plays the Ravens or something like that. So, but it's like
he's got to play the Lions and Packers twice a year. That's like 4
and so
losses.
that's going to be perfect for him. But this is a great
And the
entryway.
Vikings.
This is a gateway for Caleb Williams, and I think that the Bears fans should be excited for this.
He's the next
Listen,
Jameis
Scooter,
Winston.
you
Game.
know, don't have a Jameis Winston debut game. Like that was the writing was on the wall right from the beginning with Jameis Winston. So, but let's move on to the next game. And Scooter, I know me and you are excited about this game because this game features our favorite team, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are at home. We have a home opener, and we are going up against a kind of sneakily, like quietly good team, with the Washington Commanders. They kind of were able to add some very good pieces around them to that team this offseason. And then they have the rookie quarterback with Jaden Daniels, which as your home opener, you don't got a lot of tape on him, right? So you really don't know what's going to happen. And on top of that, we are going to be facing Dan Quinn, who was with the Atlanta Falcons for several years. So he is very familiar with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and kind of how that whole organization runs. So as much as I want to say this should be an easy win for Tampa, especially with the way that we were able to, keep a lot of key players in Tampa this offseason. Baker's coming off a great year. We've added some weapons around him. We've definitely just gotten better. But this is a game where, as a Tampa fan, I'm like, oh gosh, man, I don't want to lose, but I would not be surprised if we did, just because I like what the Washington Commanders are looking like this year. So, Scooter, as a beloved Bucks fan like myself, how are you feeling this game?
50-50. I'm not even gonna lie. The Commanders, their facility sucks. They need to tear that whole thing down and rebuild it. But now you no longer have Schneider as the owner. You have new ownership. You have new coaching. Dan Quinn embarrassed the Bucks defensively his entire career, from Cowboys to the Falcons, and that's what I worry about. Right? He knows kind of what we do on a. It's not a different team from last year, and he owned us with the Cowboys on defense. So,
yeah,
that's what I'm kind of worried about right now. From the Commanders' side, Jaden Daniels, heck of a talent, dual threat. I hope he does not pan out like RG3 and get injured, and we watch a great talent go down. Another former Heisman winner, right? And they have, I think they can be a good 500 team this year. Looking at how they played in the preseason and all the OTAs and some of the other videos, right? And the Bucks, I think, have the advantage. Ultimately, that's not just my bias as a fan. I just think of what we actually have on paper and what we've performed at. Right, we were in the playoffs last year. Now much has really changed, minus losing Devin White in the middle linebacker. So will we lose some edge pressure? Probably. We gained.
But I like Yaya Diaby off the edge. I think that he had a fantastic year. I think Kalijah Cansey is going to be an absolute beast in the middle there with Vita Vea. And he's been around the team for so long, but we lost Devin White, which it's whatever. I mean,
his production had slowed down. I'll give
very
it that.
much so. Yes. Yeah. He went from being one of the best young talents in the league his first couple of years with us to like, what happened? But coming in behind him is going to be KJ Britt. And KJ Britt, I mean, he's made some plays for us. I'm really excited, and I'm very happy to see that he's getting his chance. And so it should be good. But I do worry about the Dan Quinn effect against Tampa.
Offensively, we have the edge, right? Mike Evans, Godwin, White. You got Kate Otten as well. But does Baker? The one thing I think Dan Quinn did really good last year, and not just against the Bucks, but against a lot of teams as the Cowboys defensive coordinator, was pressure the quarterback, and not just necessarily sacks, because you had Michael Parsons and everybody, but the pressure to the quarterback and forcing the throws. And that's what Dan Quinn has done spectacularly his entire career so far. And what I worry about is pressuring Baker into a bad throw and turning the ball over.
Yeah, should be interesting. Carlos, what about you? From the outside looking in, how are you looking at this?
I see the. I think this is it's a good opening game for Daniels, but I think the Bucks are a better team, and I just don't know if Washington has enough on the wide receiver edge to press the what I feel is like if there's a glaring weakness, it's the corners for the Bucks. Safeties are good. It's just the corners. You got a rookie out there, and then you got Jamal Dean out there as well. But they get rid of Jahan Dotson. They do bring in Noah Brown, but he's really new. Then you got Christian McCaffrey's brother, who's playing the other wide receiver position. So it'll be interesting. I think the O line for Washington's okay, so they'll be able to, as long as they can hold the running backs for Washington. I think they're in good. I think the Bucks are in good shape. It is. I mean, Dan Quinn does call a good defensive game, and they do have some defensive stars on that Washington team. It just, I don't think the Bucks can lose this one. I think it'll be a tough game for them, but I see the Bucks. I just think Bucks are just they're just too good. I think in the positions they need to be good at quarterback. Baker's not going to falter or get rattled. It's just not his thing. And then you got Evans, like you guys said. I just think there's enough there for the Bucks to pull this win out for them. So, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be. I want to see Jalen Daniels, man. It's good if you're a Bucks fan. You're going to the game. You get to see a future superstar in the making.
For sure. I have very high hopes for Jaden Daniels. I really do like him, especially coming out of LSU. And I think that Washington, could have their guy for quite a while. So now they just need to build around him, which I think Dan Quinn can do. And so, the future is definitely bright there in Washington. So, but it should be a good defensive game this week here in Tampa. Let's go to a game that I think that everyone has circled on their calendar, right? And that is the New York Jets going up against the San Francisco 49ers. The return of Aaron Rodgers, can he make it to play number 5 this year? That is the big question.
That's the magic number.
That is the magic number. If he can play for 5 snaps, it's been a successful year. So, but Aaron Rodgers has come out and he says that he expects excellent this year. I know that there was a lot of, BS going on, and I feel like it was really from the media where they were trying to stir like a locker room, conflict and everything. That's not the case, man. These guys love Aaron Rodgers. The team is completely bought into him. He has a revamped offensive line, so it should help him, stay upright a little bit. And good news is that he's not opening up on MetLife turf. So everything is in their favor now, but unfortunately they're going up against one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the league, with the San Francisco 49ers. So it should be interesting. This is a really great matchup this week. And I know that we're going to get into our picks later, so I will save who I think is going to win here until that new segment that we will be showcasing this week. But how do you guys feel? What are your thoughts on this game going into?
Dude, I'm with you 100% on the media, like against Aaron Rodgers, and that's just how it's been, right? They think he's a diva, and then they're like, we got to create stories. So Aaron Rodgers is stirring up trouble in the locker room. No, he's not. Every team has loved him, maybe not the management, but like he's been fantastic. I think when you look at both of the teams and their specifically Rodgers' history with the 49ers, I don't know how you don't go with the 49ers because he hasn't beaten them. But it's just how he got stopped in playoffs year after year after year. So it's like, watching the Packers and Rodgers lose to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. That's what we wait for every year in the NFC. Then he went to the Jets, and we never got to watch him produce anything because he basically died on the field. So defensively is where I think this game truly takes shape. The Jets have had a phenomenal defense for the past couple years. Sauce Gardner's an absolute monster on the corner position. I I don't see how you count the Jets out this year at all. I know we've had that episode when we started going through the divisions, and you guys are pretty heavy with the Jets. But San Francisco, man, they've been to the Super Bowl how many times, or the NFC Championship how many times the past 5 years? And I don't see how they're not another front runner again. This is probably the toughest matchup you could have week one outside the game that's playing right now with Baltimore and Kansas City. This is a heavyweight battle, and arguably in some weird scenario could be the Super Bowl. I ultimately see this going defensively. If it's a high-scoring game, I'd be very shocked.
Yeah,
I would be hugely shocked if I don't know what the over/under is, but these are. I mean, it's arguably 1 and 2 when you come to defenses, and your Robert Saleh's coming back home to San Francisco, so as the head coach of the Jets now, but it's going to be a heck of a defensive game. That both sides are stacked on defense, but they both have good offenses, so it's kind of like one of those. If the defense makes a mistake, who's going to break the big play? It's tough, man, but it's going to be a heck of a game. That is one game you could go back and forth on who's going to win over and over. But I'm excited about it. I have Garrett Wilson on my fantasy football team, so I hope he has a heck of a game. But I have Brandon Ayuk too, so I hope it's a shootout.
I was about to say, so you're hoping for a not defensive battle.
No, I'd assume they just shoot it out. But, I mean, you have Breece Hall, McCaffrey. So you have, almost like the passing of the torch. That's who will pass it to at some point. You have Brock Purdy, who's the young guy, and then Aaron Rodgers, who's the future Hall of Famer. It's just, man, it's a matchup of, like you guys said, it's the Titans, man. It's going to be a good game for sure. There's going to be some hitting and, and both teams they'll make big plays. They're not, Mike Williams is playing now, so he's got his receivers ready to go. It's going to be a heck of a game.
Should be a really good game, and I'm definitely excited to watch this. And I know that the Jets fans are very eager to see this because this is, it's almost like they have the new excitement of Aaron Rodgers being their, quarterback, although he's been in the building for a year. They just haven't seen him, but should be a really good game. There's so many good games on this week, but those are kind of the games that we're going to highlight. But we are going to go ahead and go into a new segment that we are going to be introducing to you guys. And this segment is called Beardzone Game Picks of the Week. Yes, that is right. We're going to be going ahead and going through all the games that are happening this weekend, and we are going to take who we believe is going to be the winner of that game. And we're going to have a fun little competition going on between us as we tally up our wins and losses for the year. And I'm sure that we'll figure out a good punishment for the loser. So, but gentlemen, let's go ahead and dive right into this segment. Let's kick it off with the team that we kicked off earlier. Falcons, Steelers. It's at Atlanta. Who do you guys have?
Dirty Birds. Let's go.
I'm going with the Steelers on this one. I think defense prevails.
Okay. Hey, I like it. And Scooter, I'm with you. I'm going to go ahead and take the Falcons as a Buck fan. That pains me, but I just have to be real with myself. And you learn to do that when you're a Bucs fan. You just face reality. So, Cardinals at Buffalo this weekend.
Murder.
Should be an interesting game. Who do you guys have?
That's what that is. The Buffalo Bills are going to run over some Cardinals. That's what's going to happen. Go Bills.
I got Bills here too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and go with you guys with the Bills. And Chicago Bears versus Tennessee Titans. It is in Chicago. Scooter, we all know who you're picking. There's anytime it's Caleb Williams and someone else, he's going to go with someone else. So, but hey, entertain us. Who do you got?
Okay, I'll entertain you. I'm taking the Titans, and if I am the loser this week, I will put mayo in my coffee. And I'll put it on. I'll take a video of it and I'll send it to you guys, and we can post it on YouTube or whatever.
I feel like he's done this before.
Yeah. Is this a setup?
Yeah, it's a setup. I got the Bears, man. I think Caleb comes out 1-0 in his NFL career.
Yeah, I got the Bears as well. Patriots, Bengals. It's in Cincinnati. Who do you guys have? Scooter, you're killing me, man.
Bengals, man.
Bengals win.
Bengals.
Bengals getting that extra preseason weekend.
Three touchdowns, man. At least.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Bengals as well. Now we got a divisional matchup here in the AFC South. We have the Houston Texans at Indianapolis. Who do you guys have? Should be a good game. Anthony Richardson is back and healthy. I mean, dude, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, it should be a fun game to watch. But who do you guys have?
Dude, early division setup, and it's going to be great. I hope it's a great game. And I'm taking Texans, though. I think C.J. Stroud's got to be the next. You guys you think Caleb Mahomes is the next. Caleb Williams is next Mahomes. I'd argue C.J. Stroud's even closer.
I've gone back and forth, man. I'm still going back and forth. I'm going to go. I think I'm going to be the odd man out here. I think the Colts. I'm taking the Colts with the upset. I got to have an upset somewhere. That's my upset.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the Texans here. I love what CJ.
What?
I love.
He's taking the easy way out.
What?
You were such a Richardson fan.
I am a Richardson fan, but at the end of the day, Texans are going to be dominant, man.
Okay.
It's a very great day to be a Texans fan. CJ Stroud. I mean, you got D'Amico Ryan back as a second year with CJ Stroud. You have Joe Mixon. You have Stephon Diggs. You have Daniel Hunter there off the edge. I mean, dude, how can you not pick the Texans? So let's move on to Carlos. This is one that I know that you're eagerly wanting to watch just simply because it's your team. The Miami Dolphins are taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Florida battle. Who do we got?
I didn't know Jacksonville had a team. That's awesome. When did they get one? I'm taking the Dolphins here. I think it's a tough game for them, but I think they're I'm taking the Dolphins. Too much offense.
Man, you got Mike Vice City McDaniel over there now. I don't know how you don't pick the Dolphins. Excellent team. Mike McDaniel's got to be the favorite coach ever. Yeah, let's go Dolphins.
Mike McDaniels, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's like every year that he's been an NFL head coach, and it's just he's gotten more and more Vice City each year. So, I got the Dolphins here. I think that this game might actually be one of those games that's a high-scoring game because I think both offenses can score. But I also like Miami's defense as well. So, I don't know. Let's move on. Scooter. NFC South matchup. We have the Carolina Panthers versus the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. Who do you guys have?
Yeah, I saw a meme this week, and it said, Spencer Rattler says that the Saints fans would die for their players. And someone commented that we ain't dying for Derek Carr. Yeah. So I don't think Carolina has the talent to compete this year. I think it's a good rebound for them. I don't think they win very many. This is not a great game for me to watch personally. I think the Saints take it at home, though.
Yeah, I got the Saints too. I think it's the Panthers still.
Yeah, I don't have too high hopes for the Panthers either. I'm taking the Saints here at home. Next matchup, we have the Minnesota Vikings going to New York and face the New York Giants. How do you guys feel about this one?
I don't know.
I have no clue. Can we vote for draw? Like you said,
I actually been going back and forth with this one too. I want to take the Vikings just because it's the Vikings and not the Giants, but a part of me feels like the Giants. But I'm going Minnesota. I've seen too many of the preseason games with Danny Dimes, and he's not looking real good. So I'll take the Vikings.
Daniel, the joke of a draft pick, Jones. It's Vikings. It's super simple for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you guys. Vikings as well. I don't like anything about Daniel Jones, and I feel bad for Malik Neighbors, and I drafted him, so I kind of feel bad for myself. So, but let's go ahead and move on.
Double L right there.
Right, exactly. And but we have the Oakland Raiders, going old school. The Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. Who do you guys have here? It's in LA.
Another division matchup, man. Antonio Pierce has done a spectacular job of turning that organization around and getting the culture and guys to get on the same page. And then you got John Harbaugh. Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah, whatever. Jim. Does he steal more signs? I don't know. But he's been in the area before. He's been in the NFL, and he's a winner in the NFL nonetheless. I would like to see the Chargers to come back to that Phillip Rivers, LaDainian Tomlinson era with Seau and just dominate, man. But I lean more towards the Raiders, and I know that's crazy having Gardner Minshew as the starter, but I think the culture and the hype and the unity that they have there right now is very on par. I know one of the analysts said that they see Devontae Adams go into the Commanders mid-season or something crazy like that, but I think Vegas wins this one.
Man, I have on my sheet here. It says Raiders, so I don't feel good about it. I can tell you that. I'm gonna stick with it just because it's on there, but I don't feel good about the pick.
I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to take the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh and the boys are going to be able to really kind of, make their presence known. This is a divisional matchup. Jim Harbaugh is going to be preaching, "Hey, we got to come out strong. We got to win this game. You want to win your division? You got to beat your division." So, I think I like the Chargers. I really do. Although I love what Antonio Pierce and the Raiders are doing, and especially their defense. Man, that defensive line is nasty. But I like the Chargers, and I'm going with the Chargers. Next, we have the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Who do you guys take? You going to take the rookie Bo Nix or the old head Geno Smith in this one?
I'm taking DK Metcalf in this one. I'm taking the Seahawks.
No kidding, man. I mean, Bo Nix did look really good in preseason. But again, another rookie starter. Welcome to the NFL type moment, and you're playing in Seattle with the 12th man, right? So I got Seahawks with this one. They're more consistent. There's been a significant amount of change for the Denver Broncos, and they're going to have some hiccups early, I think, this year. And I'm going with the Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks here as well. I just don't know how well the Broncos are going to be this year. I do like what Bo Nix looked like, but it's preseason. We always have to take it with a grain of salt. So, but we'll see what happens there. Next, we have the Dallas Cowboys going to the Cleveland Browns, facing the old doghouse there in Cleveland. So, who do we got?
I'm gonna have to check in on my in-laws on this game, but I'll let you go first.
It's a tough one for the Cowboys. Start off with the Cleveland, man. That's a stout defense as well, man. That whole AFC North, I don't know, that all of them have good defenses over Cincy, but I have to take the Cowboys. It's regular season, so they'll win.
I'm taking the Browns on this one. Honestly, I really am. I like their defense. I think their defense is going to be really, really tough, and I don't know. I just I like them. I especially like Cleveland at home. So. I'm taking
Deshaun's he definitely has found the right masseuse up there, so he should be good shape.
I for the life of me do not want to root for the Browns or the Cowboys. If there's another game to root for a draw, this would be another one. They lost Dan Quinn as the defensive coordinator in Dallas, but they still have an extreme amount of talent. There's going to have some contract talks and disputes this coming year with Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott. I think Dallas has a pretty consistent regular season win percentage over the past few years, or probably the last decade or so now. And the Browns, though, the Browns are coming back, man. That defense is no joke. They were in the playoffs last year with calling Joe Flacco off the couch to come in, dropping his kids off at daycare or whatever, still rocking the old man beard, and still winning games. And to me, does Deshaun Watson come back to the same performance we saw in Houston, or do you get stuck with Jameis Winston? So it's a big roll of the dice for the Browns. They're playing odds like they're in Vegas. I'd take the Browns at home. Crazy.
Cowboy haters.
That, and I would love to see the Cowboys fans cry first game.
That would be awesome. That definitely would be awesome. But now let's go to the game. Scooter, Bucks, Commanders. Who do you got?
Let's go!
Let's go.
That's all I gotta say. Let
I'm
them cook.
taking the Commanders by 13. Just kidding.
Dang.
Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm going with the Bucks on this. Mike Evans gets a couple touchdowns because I have him on my fantasy team.
There you go. Speaking into existence, I'm taking the home team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. Although I do think that we should see a good game this Sunday at Ray J. Last two games, boys, they're good games. Los Angeles Rams, Detroit Lions. They're in Detroit. Who do you got?
I feel like the NFL scriptwriters just love putting things like this up.
Oh, yeah.
There's a good group of week 1 games, man. Matthew Stafford he's back in Detroit. Detroit's on healthy Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, not. We'll see. You know what I'm most interested about that game? Not so much quarterbacks. I want to see that Rams defense with the new guys on there and see how they do. And it's a great test for them. So I'm going with the home team, Detroit, man. Dan Campbell's not gonna. He's in his 15th jug of coffee right now, so going Detroit.
He's got that double gulp I-80 gallons worth of coffee ready to go, bro. Oh,
he does,
dude. Dan Campbell at home. That's so hard to go against. But then you got a lot of talent that just jumped into the Rams organization after suffering for a couple of years in the draft with the whole Stafford trade. You got to. I feel like the NFL, like I said before, the NFL writers this year, just kudos for week 1 because you got an AFC championship matchup on right now. You have an NFC trade debacle thing going on week 1 with the Lions and Rams, dude. I could honestly see this going as a high scoring matchup because you got two guys with just cannons for arms, but it's still at home. And the Detroit Lions have such motivation now with making the playoffs last year and winning. So I'm taking the Lions.
I'm going to be the odd man out here. I think Matthew Stafford and the boys are gonna get the win there in Detroit. He walked out of there last year to end the year with the loss, and I think he comes back and he wins there in Detroit one last time. So I think a healthy Rams team should be a good matchup. I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's a Sunday night game. I mean, what more do you want? But I'm going to go with the Rams here on this one. And to wrap up the week, the Jets and the 49ers. Who do you guys take?
Go 49ers at home. I give them the home field advantage.
I think Brock Purdy shows the old man who's up. I mean, that defense, dude. The 49ers to me are the complete team for the NFC. Like, hands down, no questions asked. Unless, half their team gets injured. I think the Jets have the capacity to win this game, but they're also playing the San Francisco 49ers on their home turf. So, does Aaron Rodgers make it to play 5? Is that up for a debate? Like you said earlier, Dave, I take 49ers.
I'm going to be the odd man out again, man. I think that the Jets are going to be a team to beat this year. And, I see them getting the win there on Monday night to wrap up this fantastic week 1. We have a lot of great games. Football is 100% back. We have a hell of a matchup going on right now between the Chiefs and the Ravens. Chiefs right now definitely have the upper hand, but it's not over yet. So we are approaching halftime, but should be a really fun week. With all the college games that we covered. Now we go into the NFL games on Sunday. We have Friday. We have today. Later on today we have the Packers and the Eagles. So let's not forget about that game. So, but if you guys are still with us, we definitely appreciate you guys rocking with us this whole episode. That is that's a great way to help us out and get out there more on algorithms and stuff like that. So, but for all you new subscribers, we welcome you to the Beard Zone, and we're excited for this NFL season. Follow us on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we are on Twitter. You can find all of those links down there in the description below. So then that way you can give us a follow there. And we will be back next Tuesday with our new schedule. covering all the games that we just talked about. We are definitely excited for that. But until next week,
Beardzone